Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Soul Sync. How are you doing? I hope that all is well with all of you. How's it going? How are you moving? How are you living? Welcome to Soul Sync. I'm so happy that you are here today, this evening, wherever you are in the world. Greetings. Greetings to all of you. Welcome. I'm Sheila Ingram, and today we are performing a soul alignment. That's right. Most relationships fail not because of lack of love, no, 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 but because of the lack of safety, feeling safe within the environment of that relationship. And today we're just going to chat about a couple of things that I think will help you. I think that will cause you to consider a few things in terms of how we continue and move forward in our relationships. Listen, I don't know about you, but relationships sometimes are some of the I should say, sometimes the hardest thing to navigate. Relationships can start out so sweet and wonderful and full of just love. And all of a sudden, right in the middle of the road, something just disconnects, something happens, fingers start to point, finger pointings happens, and all types of miscommunication, misunderstanding. Listen, people say, I'm so misunderstood. I'm so misunderstood. Well, today we're just going to talk about a few points that I want to leave with you. This is not necessarily a teaching. This is something I was thinking about doing to bring to you so that you can kind of just sit in it, just sit in yourself, just sit in it and figure out what role you play in relationships that are suffering or need CPR, right? Or is going through some changes, right? But many relationships need CPR right about now in these days. And so it's not because of a lack of love, it's because of the communication wires or just the misunderstanding of each other's temperaments, the misunderstanding of how we are wired, right? Because we're all wired differently. And so I just want to sit with you for a moment and talk about how we can get through the red zone and the green zone, right? Because we often get stuck in the red zone. Yes, we do a place of defense, a place of walls, but the goal of this whole soul sync, when I come to you, is to get a movement towards us moving closer to what we need to do. Give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, all right. Sorry about that. I saw the battery dying, so I had to do something so that we wouldn't just snap off. I didn't want that to happen. But anyway, listen, we know what happens in relationships. We know what happens with communication. A lot of times there's a breakdown. It can start out so wonderful, but that red zone sometimes keeps us stuck, right? And we don't know how to navigate to the green zone. You're like, wait, what? A green zone? Is there a green zone? Yeah, there's a green zone, and there's a zone that we need to understand. We need to understand both sides of the zone. And as I was alluding to, saying with temperaments, the way that we're wired differently. And when we don't understand each other's temperaments, that's when the breakdown starts to happen. And so I'm going to come back again and talk about the red zone and the green zone of temperaments. So you will understand the four temperaments and what is normally going on in a choleric, a melancholy, a sanguine, and a choleric, phlegmatic, melancholy, sanguine, right? And the choleric. And I want to talk about each one of those temperaments and the red zones and green zones in those, how people are wired. And so you can understand sometimes not necessarily that something is wrong. It's just you need the understanding of the wiring system inside of people. And so let's talk about the red zone, that place of defense and walls. But the goal, remember, is always to live in the green zone. It's always, so we're always moving, we're always growing, right? And where connection and restoration happens, it happens in the green zone. I want to hear you. The green, green, green. The green zone. That's right. So today I'm giving you the map, a little map to navigate. You can navigate your way back to connection, right? Let's talk about being on a road, going back to the road of connection. Okay. So let's talk about, let's get into something I want to share with you, which is the characteristics. The characteristics. Let's talk about the red zone, the anatomy of conflict. The anatomy of conflict. That's right. I want to explain it. I want to explain how it feels and what happens when you're unheard. So let's talk about the characteristics. Number one, the high reactivity. Listen to this. You are in fight or flight mode. What happens? Everything feels like an attack. Everything feels like an attack. It definitely does. And then number two, the wall of defense. The wall of defense. You stop listening to understand and start listening to refute it, to say, that's a rebuttal. That is, I refute it. I rebuke it. You say all those types of things, right? And then I want you to know that task is over people. Task over people is, let me share a little bit about that. You start finishing their sentences with negative intent. You don't even let the person finish talking before you jump right in because you want to be heard. You want to be heard. But right there, when the interruption happens, something happens with the conversation. So task over people. You are more about being right than being in relationship, right? This is like, if those of you know that I wrote a book called The Fading Stain, right? The Fading Stain. And in here is so many jewels and tools, right? It's places where you can write, where you can meditate, where you can kind of look at you. Look at you. I lay my life out on the table in this book, but you can look at you because after every chapter, there's a point where you can stop, pause, and breathe. And I say, go ahead, it's your turn to breathe, right? There's oxygen in there. So you need oxygen in a relationship. So the wall of defense, that's when you stop listening, right? But task over people, you care more about being right than being in a relationship. You got to be right. You got to have the last word. I'm right, you're wrong. I need to say what I have to say. And then you interrupt the flow of communication, right? So I want you to understand that the assumptive thinking, that's something. I want you to understand that the assumptive thinking, right? You start finishing their sentences with negative intent, because you have to get what you want to say out, right? We're in the red zone right now. We're in the red zone. All right. And so we talk about the goal in red. The goal in red, it's like survival. Like you aren't trying to connect. You're trying to win or you're trying to hide. You're trying to win or you're trying to hide, right? So we want to navigate everything from the red zone. We want to understand what role that we are playing in a relationship with our partners, even with your coworkers, whatever. There's red zones everywhere, on your job, in your bedroom, in your house, with your children. There's some red zones that's talking everywhere. And we want to learn how to be more of a person to communicate, and how we can just humble ourselves and just be able to listen, not just hear, I hear you, no, but are you listening to me? I hear you, but are you listening? Are you taking it in, what I'm sharing with you? So we know this red zone is not a place where you're trying to connect. It's a place where you're trying to hide, or you're trying to be right, or you're trying to just win, right? This thing comes from just learned behavior. The way that we flow with people, the way that we connect with people has a lot to do with our root system, has a lot to do with where we've been, has a lot to do with if we're carrying still stains that are talking. You know, it comes from a place of a negative place, because we've learned how to just disrupt a conversation. We've learned how to not respect when someone is speaking, right? So we need to understand that everything has a root system. And when we identify things, I always say we crucify it. When we recognize what it is, when we recognize how we're wired, that's why I am going to do a red zone, green zone with the 4 temperaments, so that people can understand who they're dealing with and why people respond the way that they respond, right? Loving people come together where you have great potential together, you can build together. But these particular things that I'm sharing with you now can collapse a relationship that can go so far, So we're going to get more into that as I come back with Soul Sync, talking about the temperaments and the red zone, green zone. But right now, let's move to the green zone, okay? And I call this the sanctuary of connection. Come on, say it. The sanctuary of connection, the green zone. I call this the green zone because guess what? If you know about the movement that I have right now, the Hearts Without Walls, this is the green zone, breaking down the walls that block your heart, breaking down the walls that don't allow healing to come in, breaking down the walls where you can receive from someone that you love, right? So Hearts Without Walls, I'll call it today the green zone, all right? All right, so look at the characteristics of the green zone. Emotional safety. Listen, you feel safe enough to be vulnerable without being judged. We need to be in relationships where we can speak, I should say, freely, and don't feel like if I say this, I'm gonna be judged. Well, I better not say that because last time I said something, it went left, and all of those things don't make you feel safe. So the green zone, when we learn this, the emotional safety, you feel safe enough to be vulnerable without being judged. So if you're a finger pointer, I'm telling you now, that thumb is pointing right back at you. If you're one of those, well, you a finger pointer, where's your thumb? Pointing back at you. So let's work towards getting to the green zone. Let's talk about active curiosity, which is good, instead of why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why? Why did you do that? You ask, can you help me understand why you did that? Can you help me understand how you got to that place or that assumption, right? Not why did you do that? It's accusing. It's accusing a person. A person will immediately break down. So the green zone tells us what to do. It says, instead of saying, why did you do that? You could say, can you help me understand? All right. Now, the validation piece is a big piece, right? You don't have to agree with their perspective to acknowledge their feelings are real. Come on now, this is simple. You just got to put yourself down. Just humble yourself. Just go ahead, go low and humble yourself and listen to what I'm talking about with the validation, right? Validation, you don't have to agree. You do not, right? Because everyone has their own perspective. Everyone has their own belief systems, and they feel certain ways about certain things, and it may not be identical to the person you're speaking to, whether it's your partner, your mother, your children, whatever. But the point to respect what someone else has, another perspective. So validation, you do not have to agree with the perspective to acknowledge their feelings are real. My feelings are real when I'm speaking to someone. They may look at me like, and I'm like, oh my God, look how they're looking at me in my head, because they already got a kind of judgmental look at me, because automatically now they say, well, that's not how I think. That's not what I think. No, be neutral and understand what someone is feeling and what someone has in terms of how they're wired and what they're feeling is legit. It's real. What about people over tasks? We talked about that, right? In the red zone. What about that? You prioritize. Here's the good part about when you care about a person enough to humble yourself, enough to understand that their perspective may be different from yours. If you would just stop, pause, and reflect and let them finish speaking, right? So people over task. You prioritize the restoration of the bond, listen to me, over the resolution of the argument. The point is, you want to get across the bridge to peace. You want victory. You want peace. You want to have this wonderful conversation with this person you supposedly have feelings for, you supposedly are in love with, right? So if you have those things going on, then you must give the relationship the opportunity to breathe. Come on. Take an oxygen break. Go ahead and breathe. Go ahead and breathe. You got it? I know you got it. All right. So people over task, you prioritize the restoration of where you're trying to get to in this communication of the bond. If it's a bond, that's a strong word. If you have a bond with a person, that means you have a connection with them and you want it to be a positive connection, right? The bond over the resolution. Listen, forget about the argument. Work on you. If you don't be a finger pointer, you can work on you, and you can say, you know what, it wasn't that important that I said that. I should have never said that. I apologize. I apologize. That was all me. I hear you. Can you repeat that, please? I heard what you, can you repeat that, please? I'm so sorry I interrupted you. I'm so sorry that I came off like that. I was putting my feelings on what you was trying to explain about you. Be mindful of that. The goal in green. The goal in green is mutual understanding. Mutual. Say mutual understanding. You are building a bridge. Come on. You're building something when you're in relationship. You're building something strong. You're building something together, right? Not a barrier. You're building a bridge. You're not building there's that heart. They go to HeartNet. They go to Hearts Without Walls that need to drop, because when you have a barrier around your heart, nothing good can kind of get in. It kind of bounces off. That's why it doesn't stick, because you're so guarded that nothing can get in. You don't even let God in. You want to be right. You want everything to be your way. You're afraid. You're afraid to let it down. I get it. You've been hurt. You've been abused. You've been misused. You've been betrayed. I get that. I understand that. But will you allow those things? Will you allow those experiences to manifest in every part of your life, instead of getting angry with those walls and those barriers and saying, I'm going to be a better me today. I'm going to work on me. I'm going to be in the green zone. You wake up like, I'm going in the green zone today. The red zone, you are locked out. The green zone is where you want to be. The green zone is where you want to be. You want to build a bridge, not a barrier. Listen, step one, the halt. The halt. If you feel your heart rate is rising, recognize you're in the red zone. When you're in someone's presence, when you're talking with someone, you're having a conversation, and you all of a sudden it starts out smooth and nice, and your beat of your heart is normal, and all of a sudden you start feeling, right? You're in the red zone. You're in the red zone because it shifted you to feel a certain way, right? Anxiety kicks in, right? So the halt, if you feel your heart rate is rising, recognize you're in the red zone. Stop. Come on. I say stop, pause, and reflect. At this point, I'm saying stop the conversation before you say something that leaves a stain. We about erasing stains. In my life right now, I'm on a movement erasing the stain. Heart Without Walls, erasing the stains. So say stop before you create a stain. Before you say something cruel or rude to someone that will hurt someone else. So when you feel your heart racing, go ahead and just take a breath. Oxygen, breathe in. Just go ahead and breathe in. Number two, I want you to breathe and I want you to recenter. I want you to breathe and recenter. Take a moment for you to remind yourself, this person is not my enemy. You're going to have to stop, pause, and reflect on that. This person, I feel where we at right now. I don't like what was said. I don't like where this is headed, but wait. This person is not my enemy. This person is not my enemy. The conflict is the enemy. The conflict. So you got to deal with what the conflict is, not the person, right? All right. I know you got that. Step 3, lead with validation. I want you to lead with validation. Use it's this phrase we say is the magic phrase, right? What I hear you saying is, right? You got to repeat that back. You got to throw it back to the person so that you don't assume, right? Or you didn't hear it wrong, or you didn't go ahead and take it and run with it and it's all in the red zone. No, I want you to lead with validation. What I heard you say and what I hear you saying is, did I get that right? Repeat back to the person so that you stay in the green zone and you stay in a place where there's going to be victory and peace and love and understanding, right? Because it's easy for it to go left, again, based on how you hear, how you perceive, where you come from, what you've gone through, what traumas you've lived through, what happened to you, what somebody did to you last year. You know, listen, all of that is going to be talking. That's why we're erasing the stains. Everywhere I go, I'm talking about erasing the stains, right? Okay, so it's a movement, right? So you need to work on that, stay in the green zone. So lead with validation. Number 4, I want you to invite the connection. Come on, we got to invite it in. invited in. I want us to get back to the green zone. I want us to get back to the green zone. They might be like, what are you talking about, the green zone? Let me tell you, the green zone is the place where we need to live. The green zone is the place where we need to breathe. The green zone is the place where we grow and we get all the things that we've been praying for. The green zone, but you got to do the work. Each and every one of you, you got to do the work on you in order to move all of this debris out of your way and move the debris out of these relationships that I'm talking about. You want to live in the green zone, right? The red zone has already taken so much from you. The red zone steals everything that the green zone gives. I said the red zone steals everything that the green zone gives. Amen. This is good. So I want to say this to you. And I want to ask you, which zone are you living in today? Where you at? Where you at? Where are you today? What zone are you living in? Is your heart surrounded by walls of defense, or is it open for connection? Are you so tight that you won't even allow God to send you a new husband? You won't even allow God to send you someone who comes to bless you, because automatically you got your walls, you guarded, you up. We're going to tear down those walls that you don't need, right? We're going to have authority in the place where we remove the walls, because we have authority to choose, right? But we don't want the authority to become a block, right? So I want you to think about this with yourself. Which zone are you living in today? I want to ask you, are you tired, sick and tired of being sick and tired? So if you are struggling with the stains of past conflict, I want you to get my book. I do. I laid my whole life out. I told you a lot of my business, a lot of things that I was ashamed of, a lot of things that I had to walk through to get to this place. And I crossed the bridge to be able for God to use me, to be able to share with you and be an open book about stains, about trauma, about all types of things. So getting this book will help you get some nuggets out of it, how to deal with you. Now, you don't have to buy my book. I want you to get this message. If you are led to get my book, then go ahead to Amazon and Ingram Spark and Barnes and Nobles. Go ahead and get it. But this is not about that. This is about you. This is about you growing and understanding the power of the green zone, the power of the green zone. So if you're struggling and the past is yelling at you and screaming, or even what just happened yesterday, or prepare yourself for what might be coming your way, I want you to understand the power of the green zone in your relationships with your husbands, your family, whether you're married or not, your relationships in general. Get out of the red zone. Let a person speak. Humble yourself. You don't have to be right. You love each other. This is not a competition. It's not a competition. How are you going to grow? Where are you headed? If you're always in the red zone, where are you going? You might as well just go about your own business, each one of you, if you're going to continuously just let the red zone break down your relationship. Amen. All right. So I want you to stay uncontained. Stay uncontained. All right. I want you to stay uncontained. Live with a heart without walls. I want you to understand a heart without walls, yes, it's scary. But guess what? As long as those walls are up in your heart and around your heart, nothing good can really penetrate you and get into you and bring the greatness that something and someone is trying to give you and get to you. You're blocking. You're a blocker. And it's because of what you've lived, what you've gone through, what someone said about you, what somebody did to you, the betrayal, the essay, all of the things, the lies that were said about you, the domestic violence, the DV that you've gone through. All those things become stains, and all those things wind up in your heart, which causes you to block. And so we want to erase the stains, and we want to bring down those walls that stop everything good that wants to come in. You may be thinking, oh, I'm good, but it's not even a tinge of what God has for you. Is you just barely getting along with your heart all guarded. Because you're in the red zone, because you had a relationship that was all red, or you had a relationship that disappointed you, or you had a relationship that said a bunch of lies and you found out later. Betrayal is not easy to walk through, but don't you dare let betrayal and things like that steal the beauty of life. Tomorrow is not promised to you. Tomorrow is not promised to me. So I want you to understand the power of the green zone, right? I'll see you next time on Soul Sync. Remember that when nothing changes, nothing changes. So what you have to do, got to keep it moving. Before you go, some of you may be interested in counseling. You see that I'm a licensed professional counselor. Some of you may be looking for someone to talk to in a nice, quiet, safety zone, confidentiality. Maybe you've been betrayed by even your therapist. Maybe you talk to somebody and the next thing you know, you heard it all over the place. Listen, erasing the stains, that's my movement that I'm on. And so if you need any type of counseling, I'm going to show you a quick commercial so that you may be reaching out to me or one of the therapists that's on our roster. Okay, stay right there. Just want to tell you that I am here for you. Maybe you or someone you know is struggling and need counseling. Listen, I am here for you. In the meantime, I want you to do this for me. Stay tuned with the Bravo with Sheila Network on Monday nights with Dr. Elaine, on Thursday nights with Elder Dawn B. I'm telling you, this channel is rocking and rolling, and so many lives are being impacted and changed by those two young ladies. So many people are sharing how since they've been coming on Monday nights and Thursday nights, how they've gotten healing even in real time right in these YouTube streets. So continue to be right here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. Tune in next time on Soul Sync. Go across the YouTube streets to the Sheila Ingram Ministry Network and get some good Jesus food. Get some food, some spiritual food. Get some food that'll get you going, that'll give you the healing you're looking for. Listen, we love you. You'll see Pastor Rosa on 10 a.m. on Tuesday mornings. We love you. We love you. You can tap into Friday at 11 a.m. with the Women of Grace, myself and Pastor Rosa. We're going to be adding some new people to the roster. We even have Elder Dawn B on Friday nights at 7:30. That's right, on 7:30 on the Sheila Ingram Ministry Network. I want you to tune in, hit that bell. You will know when we're going live, and stay tuned for more of my uploads on the Soul Sync sessions or the Soul Sync. I just gonna say Soul Sync. Remember, nowyoutalking.com is the place where you can go and schedule a counseling. You can schedule an assessment. You can schedule a free consultation with me or the therapist that is there. And we will talk to you for free and tell you what we feel or what we think and what we try to offer you so that you can move better and get better and do the things that you need to do and the things that you were born to do. So remember that when nothing changes, nothing changes, and we have to keep it moving. So remember, I love you so much. Remember, when nothing changes, nothing changes. I just have to keep saying that over and over and overton to you. God bless you. I'll see you again soon. All right. Ciao. Bye-bye.